Welcome back, pilots, to our channel Demigods, One Magic World. A few days before the release of the new Aetherdrift set, and today we're going to talk about the mechanics of the set. We'll be going over the major new and returning mechanics from Aetherdrift to help you before its official release on February 14. We're going to give you also some tips with some cards that can synergize together with the mechanics. Let's jump into it. Speed and start your engines. In this race, for the victory and the Aether Spark, of course, speed will be the first new mechanic. Start your engines is a new keyword ability. Let's get ready for an example with a streaking Old Gorger. The first time in a game you control a permanent with start your engines, the speed becomes 1. This happens immediately, so no one can respond and try to remove the permanent before you pick up speed. Once your speed is 1 or greater, you can trigger an ability to increase your speed. That ability is, whenever 1 or more opponents lose life during your turn, if your speed is less than 4, increase your speed by 1. This ability triggers only once each turn. This ability isn't tied to any permanent. For the rest of the game, it can be triggered as long as your speed is less than 4, no matter what permanents you control. Once your speed is 4, you've achieved max speed, and your speed can go any higher. Some cards, like Streaking Old Gorger, have abilities that care if you have max speed. These abilities are noted with max speed and ability. That means that as long as you have max speed, meaning your speed is 4, the permanent has a stated ability. If you haven't started your engines and don't have speed yet, that number is 0. This mechanic will mainly be found on Rakdos and Orzhov archetypes. Embalmed Ascendant, Nesting Bot, Gastal Raider, Momentum Breaker, or Goblin Surveyor are excellent picks for this mechanic. Exhaust. Sometimes, in a race, you need a final boost, and exhaust abilities are activated abilities that can give you this last push, but only once. Exhaust abilities can have all sorts of effects. Put a +1/+1 counters, give some mana, deal some damage, and so on. If a permanent with an exhaust ability that's already been activated leaves the battlefield and then returns, it's a new object with a new instance of its exhaust ability. That exhaust ability can be activated again. Exhaust will mainly get represented by Gruul or Simic. Boom's Color and Rocketeer Boost Buggy clearly announce the color, the same with the excellent Sky Serpent Seeker. Vehicles. To start your race, you need a vehicle, and Aetherdrift has plenty of. Each vehicle begins as simply an artifact. Most vehicles have the crew ability, which turns it into an artifact creature until end of turn. To activate a crew ability, you tap a number of other untapped creatures you control with total power greater than or equal to the number after crew. The crew ability doesn't use the tap symbol, so you can tap an untapped creature you control that just came under your control to crew a vehicle. While a vehicle can be used to crew itself, a vehicle that's a creature can be tapped to crew another vehicle. Even though we will be able to see vehicles in every color, Azorius and Dimir are probably the best archetypes for it, as you can see it with those 2 multicolor cards, Guidelight Pathmaker and Haunted Hellride. Mounts and saddle. If you don't like vehicles, you can also try to reach the final line with a mount. Mounts are a returning creature type. Creature types don't have any specific rules associated with them, but mounts are where you're most likely to find the returning ability Saddle. Saddle is an activated ability that can be activated only as a sorcery, meaning during your main phases, while the stack is empty. To activate a Saddle ability, tap untapped creatures you control, other than the mount itself, with total power greater than or equal to the number after saddle. When that ability resolves, the creature becomes saddled until end of turn. Many mounts have a triggered ability that triggers whenever it attacks while saddled. With no surprise, Selenia with the incredible Lagorraine will be the shelter of mounts, but Boros has also excellent cards for this mechanic, as you can see it with the Cloud-Spired Coordinator, that provides at the same time some pilots to saddle. Cycling. Our final returning mechanic is cycling. It's a little engine of a mechanic that keeps the cards flowing. If a card with cycling is in your hand, you can pay that card's cycling cost and discard it to draw a card. Cycling is great on situational cards like Light Shield Parry that have situationally useful effect. But if the right situation doesn't come up, say you need a creature and not a combat trick, you can dig for the card you need. Additionally, some cards have abilities that trigger when you cycle them, or when you discard other cards, so keep those cards flowing. No one wins a race when they're out of gas. Izets seems to have the best synergy with cycling. Marauding Mako rewards for cycling your cards, for example. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed going through this new upcoming set. See you on the battlefield or the next video.